Good evening. My name is Alexander. Let me start off by introducing myself and telling you a little bit about who I am. I'm a social worker here, and I'm here to assist you with whatever you need. Let me just start by asking, do you prefer Jacqueline or do you have a nickname that you would like me to call you?
Jacqueline is okay, thank you.
Jacqueline's okay. All right. So Jacqueline, everything that we discuss here is going to remain anonymous. You are protected by HIPAA laws. So I can't discuss anything that we talk about with anyone else, except, if you are a risk to yourself or to those around you. That's extenuating circumstances. So I just want you to understand.
Thank you. Thank you for clarifying that.
So Jacqueline, what can I do for you? Is there anything that you want to discuss today?
I completed that life satisfaction assessment that you provided before this first session, and it really helped me to identify what areas that I'm really having trouble with. And one area that I wanted to talk about because it's been an ongoing for many years, but now it's gotten a lot worse, I'd say, over like this last like year or two, is my financial ability to my finances, to manage my money, and between the responsibilities I have now and being able to save. And I just feel like I'm not getting anywhere with that goal of trying to save my money and just manage everything.
So you want to talk about your finances then, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I'd
Okay,
like to do that.
all right. You want to tell me a little bit about what's going on with your finances?
Yeah, I've always worked my whole life. I work a full-time job right now. I'm going to school. We've taken on some bigger financial commitments now. We bought a house last December, which was like really exciting. But it also added a lot of pressure now to make sure, we're paying the mortgage every month. And I have a lot of spending habits that it's just hard for me to give up because I'm working hard, and I still want to be able to like enjoy my life. Um, but at the same time, I also want to save money, and I'm just having a hard time saving.
So just so I'm understanding correctly, recently you made some really big purchases, which sound amazing, by the way. You said you purchased a house and now you have a mortgage,
Yes. It's
and that's that's a really, really good step. Can you tell me a little bit about the things that you purchased for yourself? You said that, there are certain things you like to buy. Can you elaborate on that?
I like to, I like to buy myself things, clothes, food. I like to, go out to eat sometimes, get takeout. I like to get my dog. He's a little spoiled, so I like to get him lots of toys that might be a little unnecessary. I think some of the things that I buy for myself are needs, and I think everything is just really expensive right now. And I'm not used to having to cut back so much. If I really need something, I usually find a way to purchase it, but I'm also not getting anywhere with my savings, and that also adds a lot of stress for me. Um, so I just want to figure out a way to be able to still spend a little bit every now and then while saving my money, and I just feel like I can't get there lately.
Um, so you're saying that you buy things like clothes, you get takeout, but you're struggling to save money. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's correct.
Are you able to meet your responsibilities while you're buying all these extra things?
Yeah, I mean, I always make sure, I take out a certain like percentage from my paycheck, every 2 weeks to make sure I put that in a separate bank account for my mortgage. And I make sure that my bills are paid before I spend anything. And I try to put some money away in my savings and then give myself a little bit to have, for day-to-day things that I might need. But then I somehow go through that and then take from my savings, and I feel like it's this like vicious cycle that I just can't break out of.
And do you share the financial burden with anyone else, or is this something that solely lies on you?
I share the financial responsibilities with my husband. I mean, he pays. We pretty much split all the bills evenly, so that helps. I wouldn't be able to afford this on my by myself. It also causes some tension between me and him. He's really good at managing his money and saving, and I'm not. I'm a little impulsive at times. So we've gotten into some disagreements too about how I spend my money. And that I'm not saving. And there's a lot of stuff that we want to do to the house, a lot of like upgrades and renovations that we want to do. But I know that it can't all fall on him too. So I feel like that's even more pressure for me to figure out how to save my money so I can help him to do these renovations that we want to do.
See, I understand. Is there can you think of any possible way that you can reduce the amount that you're spending?
I think there might be some things that I could possibly cut back on. Not going to like certain stores, and telling myself I'm only going to get this one thing that I need, and before I know it I'm walking out with multiple things that I really didn't intend on getting in the first place. Just sometimes I feel like that urge to shop like kind of takes over. So maybe purchasing those necessities online instead of just going to a store that I like, that could maybe help. I could try that.
And do you feel like you ever buy things that you really don't need? Like when you do go shopping, like you just said, you walk into a store to buy one thing, but you walk out with a few other.
Mhm.
Is this a common occurrence for you, or is this something that, happens once in a while?
I'd say it's pretty common. And I think I like to tell myself, differently that, well, I've learned from the past time that I won't, spend too much. I'm only going to stick to what I need to get. And then somehow it's like I kind of forget all of that when I'm in the moment.
So it seems that you do wanna make these changes, but you also are struggling to do so. Even though you're meeting all your responsibilities, you still kinda struggle with when you go shopping. Is that correct?
Yeah, no, it's a big struggle.
Okay. And how can we address that? Can you think of any ways, or any changes that you can make to your life that, can help you with that?
I mean, I'm not really sure. I sometimes I justify it, I think too, because I work really hard and I'll tell myself like I deserve it, but I know that that really doesn't get me anywhere in the long run. It's only short term, like, you know, um making me feel better in the moment, but then I'm going paycheck to paycheck. There's just no way to, and that adds even more stress.
Can you think of any possible ways to maybe put your money to savings? That way you can't spend it unnecessarily? Like, do you think it's possible to open up a savings account that maybe you can't have access to until a certain period?
I think that's a great idea. I think that's definitely worth looking into.
Okay.
Like a type of account that I can't access. I think that's a good idea. I've never tried that actually before.
Yeah, because you do work hard, you said yourself, you do go to school, you have been working for a very, very long time, and you made some great purchases, a home, it's building for the future. But I also, from what I'm understanding from this discussion is, you do spend money on things that you don't quite necessarily need, and it has built up tension in your
Mhm.
household. And I want to try and brainstorm with you about ways that we can reduce that tension and that make the financial difficulties a little easier on you going forward.
No, that
So
sounds
are there any changes that
amazing.
you're willing to make?
Yeah, I think I'm willing. I think I definitely want to make this change. It's just being able to follow through and knowing like the right step or the right approach to it. I just feel like I haven't figured it out yet, or I'm still holding on to, um, these old habits that are just difficult to change. Because I do like to, shop and buy new things. So it's
I
something that's
understand.
kind of hard to give up also.
Do you think it's possible for us to work on addressing those old habits? Is that something you would like to discuss?
Yeah, I would really like to discuss that.
Okay, so we can definitely discuss that going forward, but in the meantime, while we still have some time, I want to discuss with you, some possibilities or some ways that you can reduce your spending even a little bit this week. Can you
Mhm.
brainstorm of anything that you might be able to do differently, like instead of take out, maybe cook in more, or instead of buying Starbucks coffee,
Mhm.
um, you know, make some coffee at home? Can you think of any ways that you can try and reduce the spending at least for this week?
Yeah, I think that's a good idea. I think I can try that. Not stopping on the way home and getting, food or coffee because I could just make it at home when when I'm back from work. Um, because when, it's a good point because it's really not saving me that much time. From the time I get the coffee to the time I'm actually home, it's maybe like 20 minutes. So I think I could try it and wait and see if I can, save that money that I would have otherwise spent on that and maybe put that in that separate account. I think that, that might be something worth trying because it's, definitely not like a necessity. It's to stop on the way home.
Happy to hear that you want to try that. Can you think of any goals, or can you set yourself a goal that you want to achieve going forward? Can you set yourself a financial goal that you want to achieve going forward? Let's think about 5 years from now. What's something feasible that you wish to have 5 years from now that you can maybe start making the changes today for?
Well, I mean, 5 years, that's a long time trying to stay in
I know
today, but
it is a long
but
time. So instead of focusing on the 5 years, let's focus 6 months from now. 6 months from
Mhm.
now, what is something that you can reward yourself with, possibly with the money that you're going to save?
6 months from now, if I'm able to save, I mean, well, just thinking about the future in general, we want to start a family, and that's something that definitely it's going to require a savings and having, money to, start a family. So I know I have to keep that in perspective too, thinking about the future.
Absolutely. All right. So for this week, I want you to remember what we have discussed during the session. And, my hope is that you're going to begin to make some of these changes. Do you have any questions for me any last minute things that you want to discuss before we begin to wrap up?
No, I think gave me some great ideas and helped me to really see the bigger picture, and just knowing that if I make a small change, just every week that it will add up, and I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Of course. So for this week, like I said, I would like you to remember the things that we have discussed this session and possibly begin to make some of those small alterations to your lifestyle. Do you think that's something that's going to be feasible for this week?
Yeah, I think so. I think I can manage that this week.
All right. And if
Okay.
you'd like, we can meet up again in a week's time and we can discuss how your week has been, and you can let me know how things are going, all right? So would this time the same next week, would this time work for you?
Yeah, that should work out fine. Thank you.
You're welcome. It was a pleasure to meet you, Jacqueline. I'm looking
You
forward to
too.
working with you. All right.
All right. Have a great night. Thank you so much.
You too. Thank you. Bye.